When there's trouble, you call DW. Can I interest you in a comic book about a scary cat? It's a comic book with Mary Jane and the Black Cat. What's not to love? Snoochie Boochies! Hello and welcome to the weekly vmcampos Comic Book Club. I'm your host, vmcampos. In this latest episode, I've got a brand new comic book haul to show off. This is a bunch of first issues that I picked up at my local comic shops. Shout out to Comics and Stuff and Now or Never Comics here in San Diego. Go check them out. Tell them vmcampos sent you. So I heard you like first issues, so I've got a bunch of them to show you. We'll just go alphabetically. I won't reveal everything, but there will be some spoilers as we browse the books a bit. So first off, we've got Darkwing Duck over at Dynamite, issue number 1. I got the Mirka and Dolfo variant cover. Dave Nakayama is doing the regular covers, but this is the cover B with Mirka and Dolfo. So obviously Darkwing Duck is an amazing character from my youth, and he's back in a brand new series. Script by Amanda Diebert, art and color by Carlo Laudo, and the rest. So the style of the character looks very on model, the whole world of Saint Canard. There's Herb. And yeah, it feels like just the latest episode from the classic 90s comic, but with modern sensibilities and the like. So it's like meeting up with an old friend. Hey, there's the Thunderquack. And Gosselin, key in gear. So, Darkwing Duck number 1 from Dynamite. Did someone say Archie Comics? Did someone say Archie Horror Comics? Archie has been on a tear on the last several years, creating a bunch of horror comics based on their classic, wholesome characters that have been around for, 80 years by now. And so we've got a series of Chilling Adventures Presents, and then with a subtitle here we have Betty, the Final Girl. Now, I'll admit, on this one I don't know anything about it except that it's the part of the Archie horror line. So we've got apparently an anthology with a few different stories, different creators. Ooh, Laura Braga art on that one. She's pretty amazing. And different creators, different colorists, different artists, etc., different stories. And so, yeah, just browsing it a little bit. This is the first time I really looked through it. But there's supposed to be some scary stuff going on. Whoops, I ruined that one. And yes, it is a pretty violent story. No joke if you don't know. If you don't know what's going on with the Archie horror books, you really got to check them out yourself. You might have gotten an inkling of it from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the streaming series. But before all of that, we had Afterlife with Archie, which reimagined the world of Archie in a zombie apocalypse. So, Betty, the Final Girl, number 1. Next up, Chilling Adventures of Salem. So, Sabrina's cat, or familiar, has its own story here with an amazing Francesco Francavilla cover. And this art is just synonymous with Archie horror because he was the artist for Afterlife with Archie, which really started the Archie horror books. This is cover B. So I was surprised because looking at the art, it really feels like Robert Hack's art, who is amazing and did the art for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. But it's not Robert Hack. It's Dan Schoenig with Ben Galvan. But the story is this eerie tale, scary stuff, violent stuff from the perspective of Sabrina's familiar, with a lot of evil stuff happening, sort of like his origin story, Sabrina's father and the like. It's just amazing supernatural stuff happening. That's scary. Have rabbits ever been that terrifying? So if you need more horror books, Archie's got them for you. What do I always say? Get the cosplay covers. Here we have a brand new series, Draculina number 1. This is Vampirella's sister. So from Dynamite, I always get the cosplay covers. This is Draculina Blood Simple. This is another series that Draculina is involved in. Christopher Priest is the writer. Michael Maria is the artist, etc. So modern art, violent art, sexy art, supernatural. It's the usual fare from Dynamite. And I'm always looking for the cosplay covers, and Dynamite delivers. In a completely different vein, we have Sergio Aragones' Groo, Gods Against Groo, the latest Groo story from Dark Horse Comics. Groo has been around, well, in his own comics since 1982 or so, but the very first inklings of Groo date to the late 70s, and so it's the usual team of Aragones and Mark Evanier. Stan Sakai still doing letters all these years later, and Tom Luth retired a little while ago, so in this case we've got Kerry Strockman. It's the usual hilarious, barbarian jokes, keen wisdom, hapless adventures, and this time with a supernatural bent to them. I believe this is a 4 or 5 issue series. And if you want to get into Groo for the first time, well, there's a brand new issue to check out. You always get this fun pantomime story at the back of the books, featuring Ruferto, Groo's dog, or would you say Groo is Ruferto's human? So this is really interesting. From Whatnot Publishing, we have Liquid Kill #1. Now it's interesting because if you don't know what Whatnot is, it's the live auction selling platform. I've been on Whatnot since the beta, and I've sold some comics and met some cool people. Now it's getting lots of traction because it's getting more promotion, like from Rob Liefeld and more. So I guess they're big enough that they do their own publishing. I know that they've done variant covers and exclusives and the like, but here's an original comic, so it's Liquid Kill. And what's cool here is that it's an independent publisher with interesting stories. So we've got written by Max Hoven and Aaron Crow, art and lettering by Gabriel Umazark, edited by Kevin Rodatelli. So cool art, very moody. Look at this color palette. It's almost monochromatic except for the splashes of color when necessary. Interesting panel layout. See, again, look at that panel right there. That really stands out. Someone's having a bad day. And so the story, again, check it out on your own. But just visually, this is a very visually interesting comic book with a fascinating story that I will no longer spoil. You gotta check it out for yourself. Liquid Kill #1 from Whatnot Publishing. Next up, we've got Local Man #1 from Image Comics. Now, I still can't tell if this is the front cover or this is the front cover because they both look correct and they both have indicia right here, so you can decide which is the actual front cover. This one's probably the front cover because on the back we've got the barcode. Although some publishers put their barcode in the back and some on the front. Yeah, I don't know which is the official side. Anyway, this is an amazing throwback. It just feels like a 90s comic. But we've got Tim Seeley, Felipe Sobriero, Tony Fleeks, and Brad Simpson on these duties. And it's just classic 90s Image goodness with modern stories, things that feel vaguely familiar. The backside over here. So it's a superhero story, but then also it's a deconstruction of the superhero genre on one side, and then on the other side it's just, an actual superhero battle. So it's kind of 2 stories in one that tie together. But all that you need to know is this is the issue where Pepper debuts. Mary Jane and Black Cat #1 by Marvel Comics. This is the second printing. So this is a series that is amazing, obviously, because we've got Jed MacKay, who continues his long run in the world of Black Cat. This is the writer that's just given so much mythology to the Black Cat in the last few years. So much character to her, so much depth. And we have Vincenzo Caruto as the artist. Very good art. Very kinetic story. This is tying in the Dark Web story at the moment, which eventually when that wraps up, the story goes on its own. But basically we've got Mary Jane Watson, she's got powers, and also the Black Cat, and they've got adventures going on. Back on Black Cat Infinity Heist, you got a really cool shot of Mary Jane cosplaying as the Black Cat. So I haven't fully read this issue yet. I don't know if that's happening at the moment. We've got millions of variant covers for this, and a brand new story with some of our favorite ladies of the Marvel Universe. Has it really been 30 years since the debut of the Milestone universe? So back in the 90s, we got the Milestone imprint, which were stories by Black creators. So here we've got this double-sized or quadruple-sized special. Giant size, there we go. Paying an homage to the classic, what is that, Flash 123? Static, you cannot stop what's coming. I've got to try. Not without me. Featuring Universal Beings, a spectacular collision between the old Milestone and the new. So a lot of people know the character Static from the cartoon Static Shock, but it was a comic book that was pretty revolutionary at the time. Still is nowadays, I guess. So we've got all of this creative team, many that worked on the original books 30 years ago. And so it's a mini anthology with a variety of stories, creators. Check out this amazing art. These dense panels, you just get so much bang for your buck when you pick up this book. Even the print feels different than the other comics I've shown so far. It's in a good quality newspaper stock rather than the glossy stuff we're used to nowadays. Ooh, and there we have the Batman Terry McGinnis. So there's a story there just for that. That's amazing. So it's a big book, lots to enjoy, perfect place to jump in. Snoochie Boochies, we've got a brand new Kevin Smith joint over at Dark Horse Comics. Hey, wait a minute, I thought he had a connection with Oni Press for a lot of years. I don't know what behind the scenes shenanigans are happening there. Anyway, so Kevin Smith is writing Quickstops, anecdotes from the annals of the Askew-niverse. So we've got Jeremy Simpson and Andrew Thomas. So hilarious cover over here, Blunt Man and Chronic swinging into action. Interior art is in black and white, like the classic Oni Press View Askew comics from back in the day. So this meeting with an old friend, Kevin Smith and the View Askew universe, the characters that populate that universe with modern stories, things that are slightly askew. And that was unexpected, so let's stop there. And we'll wrap up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Meet Usagi Yojimbo #1. We've got this double cover right here, amazing. It's the Turtles in medieval Japan. Now, Usagi Yojimbo had been in black and white for a long time, and then we went to color when we moved over to IDW. And now that we're back in Dark Horse, it continues in color, where last we left off it was black and white at Dark Horse. But welcome back, Usagi Yojimbo. And that was my comic haul of issue #1s that I picked up recently. Which ones did you like? Tell me in the comments. Which one are you going to pick up? Tell me in the comments. What do you recommend? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos, to pledge, to help out the channel, to keep it funded, to keep it going, to be a part of it all. I would really appreciate it. This has been VM Campos, and I'll see you in the next video.